It's debate week and it's really make or break. Now, Donald Trump, at least as of right now, is giving the sort of signals he always gives when he's worried about how this is going to go. And so over the weekend, he told Sean Hannity, speaking of ABC News, they're the most dishonest network. They're very nasty. I think a lot of people are going to be watching to see how nasty they are. Because you see, this one's stacked. The deck is stacked against. It's unfair to Trump for the first time ever. A debate's going to be unfair to Trump. The rest of them, he was very comfortable and it was super fair and he was confident. But this time, for the first time ever, he doesn't think that they're going to be fair. Of course, this is the game that he plays literally constantly, and he always tries to lower the expectations for himself. I want to reassure Donald Trump, you do not need to do that. I don't have any expectations for you. But in this case, he's looking for every advantage he can get, even advantages that have little to do with rhetoric and more to do with size. So he put out this truth saying no boxes or artificial lifts will be allowed to stand on during my upcoming debate with Comrade Kamala Harris. Has that caught on yet? We had this out previously with former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg when he was in a debate and he was not allowed a lift. It would be a form of cheating, and the Democrats cheat enough. You are who you are. It was determined. What a just strange way to end all of that. The whole thing's strange, but the quote, you are who you are, as Sun Tzu once said. What are you doing, you freaking weirdo?
Love I was born this
eat,
way,
pray, lift.
Lady Gaga.
As Gaga once said.
John, do the lifts include his heels?
No, I don't think they include the heels.
There's a reason he is perpetually at a 45-degree angle, right? I mean, now that he's steadily on Ozempic, no hate, but he's on it. He doesn't have to sort of like, maybe the angles decrease because like the tummy doesn't have to be, as far pushed back. But I'm just wondering if we're gonna check shoes here. Does it include Kamala's heels? Will she be wearing heels?
No, that's Democrats cheating up, Kamala. You are who you are. I love the idea that he's just always at like a Ron DeSantian sort of lift. Like he never knows when some body weight sissy squats might need to break out or something. He's a big impromptu exerciser. But anyway, what's the idea here? So the idea, most importantly, is that Donald Trump is out of his GD mind. But other than that, it's so normally you kind of even out the height a little bit when people are going to be debating next to each other. That's just what always happens, always. That's not some weird thing to help the Democrats or whatever. So Donald Trump apparently has so little confidence in his mind or his ability to speak that now he thinks the only advantage he can possibly get is that he'll be bigger than her. Kamala Harris is 5'4", they say. Donald Trump, his height goes up and down however it needs to make his BMI not be in the morbidly obese category. But people agree that he's 6'2", maybe? He says 6'4". I've seen him standing next to people that height, and that's not true. But either way, he's gonna be bigger than her. And he seems to like the idea of visually dominating women. You might recall the weirdest debate in American history where Donald Trump was lurking behind Clinton like a freaking weirdo. Why was this how they shot the debate? I'm not even honestly that mad at Trump about this. I mean, he was super weird and everything. Why is that how they were shooting that debate? But regardless, that's what he wants. He wants to look really big next to small woman. That's how it seems, Francesca.
Yeah, I was actually I couldn't sleep very well last night, and I was just reminded of the debate where Trump was lurking behind Hillary Clinton and thinking who allowed that to happen? And it's because I don't know if it was the CNN debate or the NBC, whichever one it was, they were really trying to mix it up and let's have everybody surrounding the candidates instead of in front. It's just no, don't mix it up. You've mixed it up enough with Donald Trump actually being on that freaking stage, which by the way, yes, people, somehow we are still here. I just wanna just pause, John, because I feel like we do so much breathless coverage. It's important, we have to, but also let's just take a Monday pause to realize this man should not be running in this election.
Yes.
Period. If this were another country that actually held their leaders accountable for the crimes that they commit, including the abuse of their power and of the office of president, he would not be president. In fact, many states attempted to take him off the ballot. But oh no, John, what would that mean? Wouldn't that just fire up the base even more? And this is so stupid. And yet here we are, John. We've got to beat him at the ballot box. And so, God damn it, let's beat him at the ballot box. But I just want to name like how much crazy pills we all feel like we're taking when we have another Monday and some more bad polling out actually that shows, Donald Trump in this race and in fact doing okay. I know, he's gonna run his little mouth on the global stage tomorrow night.
Yep.
And we're here again.
And we get to watch and it'll be exciting. But yeah, I agree. Look, to the right wingers that might be watching, and I know there's probably 3 or 4 of you, do you know what the consequences actually would have been if Donald Trump had been barred from some ballots and then hadn't end up being the candidate? I know, that's the deep state, it's so unfair. So you know what the actual effect would be? A different Republican would be the nominee and would probably be leading by 5 points. Like really, that's actually what the effect would be. Donald Trump is a uniquely bad candidate on the national stage, you dumb little donkeys. But anyway, you got the guy you wanted, and so it's still kind of a toss up or whatever. And I agree, I like your little Monday timeout. I do, like sometimes I get frustrated on like threads when a lot of people are like, why were people talking about Joe Biden's brain? Why don't they point out that Trump isn't qualified? And I often feel like, we have done that, but it is good to remember. It is good to remember. He shouldn't be running for a variety of reasons. He is incompetent mentally, as well as in terms of qualifications for the job. And he is a felon, and there should be some consequences for some assortment of these things. But anyway, I want to turn to a different rule. So no lifts at the debate, Kamala, that's cheating. But a different rule change that the Harris campaign had been pushing for did not happen. She wanted to free the Don and not mute the mics while the other person was talking. She didn't get that. And even though, well, as we'll get to, Donald Trump pretended he wanted them unmuted or whatever. But here is Colby Hall explaining why that likely benefits Trump.
The big issue, of course, is the muting of the mics, which I think will really help Trump.
You think it'll help Trump?
Absolutely, because if you look back at the 2020 last debate between Biden, he was sort of a bull in a china shop, and I think turned off a lot of people. And so the muting of the microphone lends itself to a level of discipline that he doesn't typically have. It's almost like if you take a kid bowling and you know that they're just gonna be throwing in the gutter, like they put up those guardrails.
Yes.
That's what the muting of the mic is. And that's why the Harris campaign was trying really hard to remove that rule. And even though Trump said like, we can unmute the mics, that's fine. His campaign was like, no.
And so I just wanted to play that mainly because I loved the analogy to the guards for the kids who could just bounce. But it's duck pin bowling for democracy.
Yeah,
I guess,
it's bumper bowling.
I missed that. That was a lot of fun. But
Trumper bowling. There we go.
Trump, you got to put up the Trumper guards. But anyway, so the rules have been set up to benefit Donald Trump in some ways, but even though he's complaining that they're so unfair. So that's sort of like the laying of the stage of how this thing looks. We're gonna have to see if Harris, maybe the shot will still have him in frame and you'll see him like visibly freaking out. I don't know, but as of right now, she won't get that benefit. When you click the join button and become a tier 2 member, you get access to all of our weekly top 10 lists. What are you waiting for?